Well, good morning, everybody. It's a Sunday morning, a sunny Sunday morning, and happy Mother's Day to everybody out there who is a mother or a caregiver or a caretaker or a fur person mother. So today is put aside for us. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if anybody pops in. If not, I'm going to talk to myself, which is fine. I talk to myself all the time. But I'm hoping some of you will open at least one eye and turn on a phone or an iPad or something to see what trouble I can get into this early in the morning. Carol's going to try to join me later. Hi, Tori and Ruth. It's so wonderful to see you. You'll listen to me. Okay, okay. Thank you. At least I've got some folks here, and I appreciate seeing both of you. I know it's still early. It's early, but I think Tori, it's in the afternoon for you, right? Tori, aren't you over across the pond? Good morning, Dixie Doodle. So wonderful to see you. This is awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and visiting for a while. I'm a little nervous. And good morning, Saddlebags, and happy Mother's Day to you also. I've heard from both of my sons, so they are now in my good graces. Sometimes they forget, and I blame my ex-husband because he never made a big deal about Mother's Day with my two boys because his comment was, "Well, you're not my mother." So they kind of never grew up with anything. It was just another day, which is fine. So we've got a couple of folks here, and I'm going to start. I think I'm trying to figure out what it's going to look like, and for Sunday mornings. And it's a whole new mindset. Scott is the same. Okay. Good morning, Ampex. It's great to see you. I'm so happy you're here. Let me just turn my thing on okay. Mrs. Gigi, good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. Greg has to be reminded. Some years I remind him, others I don't. Yeah, I feel the same way. Good morning, Arlene. Thank you for being here. So great to see you. So as people come in, I'm going to start off. I think this is a much older book, but this man and how he writes is inspirational, in my opinion. And you can see this book is really kind of beat up, and I don't even know what happened to the cover. I have no idea. But he's probably most known for a book that he wrote many years ago, and maybe you've heard of that. And he wrote a book called All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And that was, a very popular book. And then he wrote a second book. And the second book, this is the second book, has a really odd title. But the boys haven't called yet. Yeah, I guess it's a guy thing. I don't know. But my youngest son, he really went all out. He actually framed the two pictures that he took of me with the boys when I was in Utah. He bought frames, put them in frames, and bought a lovely card and mailed that all to me, which I thought was really nice. My older son, he called yesterday and went, happy Mother's Day, weekend, because it was Saturday. And then he said, do you want to play some World of Warcraft? So I guess that was my Mother's Day gift. We played about a couple of hours worth of World of Warcraft. So that was fun. But that was it. So it is. It's just another day. And actually, I think it was invented by the card companies, because look at all the cards that are bought. On Mother's Day. So Just another day here. Okay. Yep. So I was going to read a little bit. The chapters are real short. I find them very inspirational, and he always has a point. I do believe he was a minister at one time. His name is Robert Fulghum. Fulghum. So I'm going to read. I'm only going to read one section, maybe every Sunday, and this is really pertinent for today, because this is a note from the author to the reader, you and I and all of us. Show and tell was the very best part of school for me, both as a student and as a teacher. Not recess or lunch, but that special time set aside each week for students to bring something important of their own to class to share and talk about. And this is what we kind of do here. This is show and tell. I'm going to show you some stuff, and tell you about some stuff. So I think all of our streams are really a show and tell. Now, I remember show and tell when I was in school. I remember it very clearly, because once I tried to bring in a rifle, a toy rifle, and that did not, this was in 1950, 54, 55, and that didn't go over too well, but I was very excited. It was an M something lock. It was a toy gun like my brother had in the Marines, and it was like my prized possession, and I brought that to school, and that was not, again, received very openly, but I could bring it, So show and tell. And maybe you can think back of maybe some show. Maybe you had show and tell. Maybe you didn't. But it's a great concept. As a kid, I put more into getting ready for my turn to present than I put into the rest of my homework. Show and tell was real in a way that much of what I learned in school was not. It was education that came out of my life experience. And there wasn't a lot of rules about show and tell. Exactly, me bringing a gun. You could do your thing without getting red penciled or gonged to your seat. As a teacher, I was always surprised by what I learned from these amateur hours. A kid, I was sure, would reach down into the paper bag he carried and fish out some odd-shaped treasure and attach meaning to it beyond my most extravagant expectation. It was me, the teacher, who was being taught at such moments. Again and again, I learned that what I thought was only true for me, only valued by me, only cared about by me, was common property. Show and tell was a bit disorderly and unpredictable. What the presentations lacked in conventional structure was compensated for by passion for the subject at hand. The principles guiding this book are not far from the spirit of show and tell. It is my stuff from home, that place in my mind and heart where I most truly live. This volume picks up where I left off in all I really need to know I learned in kindergarten. When I promised to tell about the time it was on fire when I lay down on it. The form of this book is a reflection of the life from which it is drawn. Here is not a collection of well-crafted essays, but the ongoing minutes from a one-man committee meeting, gussied up a bit for bringing to class, an amateur's job. I would read these pages to you if I could, but since that's not possible, I have a suggestion that verges on a request. You know how it is when you get a letter in the mail from a friend far away, and you tear it open and start reading it, and somebody else in the room says, "Read it out loud." And you do, and you talk about it as you go along, adding your own observations and explanations. Read it like that. Show and tell. How perfect. Hi, Nadia. Natalia, so wonderful. So this really kind of works. And so this is my show and tell. And I am going to read it out loud week by week. Each one is, a little short snippet, and they always have a great point. So I hope you'll indulge me in our show, in show and tell. So that's it I hope you find this interesting because I really find him very inspiring. All right. Well, since I feel like this is Carol's stream, and I feel remiss that I wash hands, wash hands. Good vibes, yes. Uh, I was too shy. I mean, recently I was too shy, but like now I enjoy seeing everyone else's show. Okay, all right, yeah. I love being read. Okay, I love reading out loud. I used to read out loud to my students. I would assign like a novel for them, and I would after school I volunteer. I would read for like a chapter or two out of the book. So if they didn't want to do the homework, they could come after school, and I would read that section of the assigned reading to them. And the classroom, it was standing room only. I mean, every desk was filled. The kids were sprawled all over the floor as I read to them. They just loved it, and it's a soothing thing. You know, it really is a soothing thing. So I'm going to, I'll show and tell. I'm a little scattered. I hope, and please, forgive me for being scattered. I've just been trying to think of things, you know, um, to make, do. So one of my things that really brings me comfort is my little glue books and collage. Some of these are collages, some of them are just maybe glue books, but I typically make them out of this. Is made out of junk mail. Those heavy advertisement cards that you get in the mail. Well, that's what this is made out of. These are all those type of hard cards, and I've just over the course of time, I have glued pictures into them. And Carol's here. Let me bring Carol in to the stream.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for waiting on me.
Oh, not a problem.
Thank you for doing Sundays.
You're welcome. I'm getting it slowly but surely. But so I just read a little excerpt from a book that I'm going to be reading on Sundays.
I was listening.
Oh, okay. So you heard the show and tell part, right? Isn't
I
that what this
did.
is?
Good morning, Dixie and Ruth and Artful. I think it's Tori,
Yes.
Arlene.
Yeah. So I was just going to show this book that I've been working on. It's made out of junk advertisement cards. And it's one of the
If you
few
want
ones.
to get a bigger desk view, do the two landscape ones, and you'll get a bigger desk view.
I click on me or this one?
No, on the where you see your little squares below. You
Yeah.
see where there's two squares that are landscape, like longer? There
No.
you go. Now you see how big your desk is?
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. All righty. You can see this? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one that I very rarely do these ever get finished. It's one of those things that are ongoing. Let's see here. But this one's finished. And I was just going to flip through. Some of it's silly. Some are little pieces that I drew and cut out. And what I like to do is I'd like to get ones that, sometimes you get those cards in the mail that unfold. And this one unfolds. And I like the ones that unfold because then it gets really big. And you can't even see it all. But anyway, it comes all the way out. And these are all magazine images.
Oh, that's cool.
And
You
then,
have to make yourself big so they can see you while you're show and telling.
okay, I'm learning.
That's all right. There you go.
Oh, okay. All righty. So I know the glare is really bad, but so this one really comes way out, folds back in. So a lot of them do that. I kind of look for that. These are little drawings that I did. I have this little book on how to draw everything, and they have sketches of artists. And this is Andy Warhol. This is Michelangelo. I can't remember. This is Dolly, and I can't remember who this guy is. But those were little, oh, I did some more over here. I think that's Dolly. I can tell by the mustache. But anyway, it's a neat little book, and I could manage to copy that enough to. I wish I could remember who some of these guys are, but that's one of my own drawings. And I think this one is another one that folds out. So it's kind of fun because it just kind of, it's a gift that keeps on giving, and it folds out. And you can do all sorts of things with these. There's William Shatner. I drew these a lot. I liked them. Here's some of my fish drawings. I think this one, no, does that one open? I guess not. So, but you can see I just have, this is the picture that I used on the Facebook thing. This frog, one frog, because there's one, and then I have the one for this afternoon. I have two frogs because Deb will be there. And then this again opens up, and this was poetry. So sometimes it's a challenge to fill all these pages, but I kind of like this one with the hands and the bunny.
I'm going to have to remember that pull-out page for my nature journal.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how much junk mail you guys get in Canada, but here,
we get some, not a lot.
Yeah. But this is, you can see how this is. I actually used this picture twice. But, and then on this side, I get a lot of travel brochures because I just emailed. If you really want some beautiful pictures, you just, email them and say you want a catalog, and you'll get them for the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
Even if you never ever go on a cruise. But they're great images, like Viking cruise and oceanic cruises. And
do you find the magazine pages nicer to glue down than using, say, just a printed image on regular copy paper?
Yeah. I mean, you get the nice gloss. I mean, I get at least one a week.
Oh, wow.
And I'm talking full blown catalogs. Like this is one, and this is Amsterdam. Okay, this is from the same catalog because they go to Australia. So why not have it? A kangaroo overlooking one of the canals in Amsterdam. And these are fashion magazines. But here's another piece of that Amsterdam.
Cool.
You can see the Amsterdam in the back. This is another one. This is from the tube. Janet Nash sent me the underground the schedule for the underground for the subway in London. So that's a piece of that. And yeah. So I highly recommend this. I think if I maybe put that, if you're interested, I can put the description in the bottom, because I mean, you get unbelievable pictures, and of course a lot of advertising, and then you can see all the prices for these cruises, and they are really outrageous, but you can dream. All right. So Carol, what are you gonna? Oh, I see what you're gonna work on. Tell everybody. I'm excited.
Well, everybody knows that I wanted to do a nature journal, which will consist of naturally nature, animals, flowers, herbs, the sun, the moon, the elements, all of that stuff combined into one. And sorry, I'm kind of stuffy this morning. It was a rocky morning here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I took some pages out of another journal I had that I had purchased a while ago that I never really did anything in. And these pages are really they're like a cotton. My lighting is crappy. Turn a light on, but I don't know how good it's gonna do. But you can see the texture
Yeah.
where the tea was to the background, and this paper is like super thick. It's almost like a paper bag, but heavier. I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain it, but
It looks
anyway,
like
I
it
took
look
some page.
does it feel like parchment paper or not?
No, no, this stuff is thick.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's almost like you know how you peel a layer off of cardboard,
Oh. Oh,
and
wow.
it's got a really rough texture to it. It takes watercolor really well, and I stamped, and I did this page so I could show, and pardon my shaking hands. But you can see I did paint the back of this
Okay.
a little bit, but you can see through it, but it doesn't really come through
That's
much.
interesting. Huh.
But it's almost like a cloth.
Huh.
It's really really different type of. But anyway, I got some stamps, and I stamped this on and then watercolored it, and I
And you
figured.
told me about that stamp. Now, so the stamp was the sun was a stamp. The sun was a stamp. The
Yeah, all but the word is the stamp, and it was the
celestial something you said.
celestial stamps on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm like, everything is a disaster right here, right now.
I'm just saying it's a very interesting stamp set. That the stamp had the mason jar too, or did you paint them for
Yeah.
that?
Oh, I found it.
What an interesting. Wow.
And you get the zodiac signs.
You have the hand, the famous.
Yeah, the hands, the mason jar, nature in a mason jar, the moons, the stars, and you can
Wow.
tell which ones I
Oh,
use.
look, it's got all of this. It's got the whole moon thing, the whole phases of the moon stamp at the
Yep.
top.
So I thought this would work really, really cool because, with nature, you have, your moon cycles and different things like that, and your sun. And I thought it would be kind of cool as I'm going through, if I see, the day I'm doing a page, is to pick the moon cycle that
Mhm.
is going on, and then put whether it's cloudy or sunny, and just different types of things like that. And then naturally, with all the extra little goodies you sent me, I can add more stuff to my journal, little pages and stuff in between. And the I think it's washi tape stamps. I have never seen those before. That's
Yeah,
pretty,
I had. Yeah, they are. They're washi stamps. Yep, and that's exactly what they
that's
are.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't know
all these
where I
other
got
little
them.
nature stamps of flowers
Yeah.
and animals and bugs. And so this is going to be really cool. I can't wait to start putting stuff down, but I wanted to try and figure out my backgrounds before I
Yeah.
start
Those
gluing some stuff
those are
in.
hard. The backgrounds are hard. I have trouble with those too.
So, but I really really liked
Thanks,
this.
Aunt Beck. Yeah,
So,
Aunt Beck put the link in for that stamp set. That is awesome because that is so versatile.
and it was cheap.
Cheap is good.
For Canada, it was cheap.
Oh wow. Okay, I'll have to check
But
that out.
anyway, I did just 4 signatures because I
I
thought seasons, right? 4
Oh,
seasons.
perfect. Oh, yes.
So I thought I would do a season per journal. Well, we're in spring now. So I figured I would start with spring,
Makes sense.
summer, fall, and then end with winter.
That's a
And
great
you had
idea.
showed me your book a while ago. You showed on a stream where you had that.
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
I've already done my signatures are already done with a linen, but what I'm instead of cutting the top edges,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to poke a hole and have the the binding thread go through the hole and then tie around here
Okay.
instead of cutting the pages.
Yeah.
Good morning, Kimberly. Yes,
Yeah.
happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Yes. Good morning, Kimberly. So,
And
did
so,
you watch that video from her?
yes, I did.
She's amazing, isn't she?
I've had her subscribed, but I haven't had a chance to actually watch all the.
Right. Oh, she's got so much stuff.
So what I did to make this one, instead of doing her style and putting
Mm.
all the pieces together, I took an old Ranger journal.
Oh, okay.
Let me get some light on the subject and see if that helps.
That's what you meant. I couldn't understand what you said when you said ranger.
Yeah, so this is an old Ranger journal that I had, and I just gutted it.
Yeah.
I took everything out, and actually I cut. They come with a envelope
Mm-hmm.
in the front.
Hi, Mary
Well,
Lou.
what I did was I took that envelope out and I cut it down to size to fit my pages.
Perfect.
So I can, after I cover this side, and let me tell you, taking apart this part to get the let me think, the elastic out,
Oh, yes.
because the elastic is glued in underneath
Oh, that's right. That's
all
right.
this mess.
Uh-huh.
It was a mess to pull out.
Well, that
And then
cover
to
looks
kind
like
of
it's been
level
through a
it.
battle, but you won.
So, I mean, it was a good idea, but
Yeah.
it's a process to get to the point where I can cover.
Right.
So
But now you
that,
have a blank state and you have a blank canvas. You can do anything you want.
yeah, so I just cut out these
Mm-hmm.
areas instead of what she did with putting all the pieces together.
Right.
So that's how I will put these in there then. I will lay these in. Oops, I'm only partial screen. I will lay these in and then I will mark where my just above this edge is and poke a hole in each one of those because it'll go right in the center there. So it's not going to interfere with any of the other holes. And then I can do the binding so the ties come out and then I can put dangles or whatever on it. So
Yeah.
that's what I have, and I'm just gonna watercolor the pages because I still don't know what I want to cover this with.
Well, I mean, I've been working on that sewing journal and I don't have anything on the pages. All I've done is I've sewed a lot of lace on the sides of the pages, but that's all. And then, I don't know what else I'm going to, but for you, for the nature thing, you could just do a nice watercolor wash, a couple of colors on the pages.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did here, and
Yeah.
then I figured I have a robin that decided to make a nest in my bedroom window,
Oh,
and I thought I would take a couple of sketches and paint her in there because it's spring and that's the beginning of birth of spring. So all the baby birdies being born. So I thought I would do another without stitching outside my window,
okay. All right.
but it's literally on my windowsill.
That's amazing.
And she made her big nest, and she sits in there, and so
That's
I
cool.
gotta
So you have a
see if
front row seat. That's nice. So that's what you're going to work on? I'm actually, I figured I had to do some sewing. So,
Sorry about that. It's a sneezy morning.
I think Arlene, are you going? It says you all have a blessed Mother's Day. I'm not sure. Hope she can stay. I know it's a bit past her bedtime.
Hi, Mary Lou. And
Mary Lou's
I
here.
guess Arlene is going.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So you have a front row seat to the robin's nest.
yes. So I have to take my little step ladder in there to see if I can see how many eggs are in there.
Oh wow. But that'll be great.
She gets pretty upset when I go out that side door too.
Oh, wait until the eggs hatch. She's gonna dive bomb you.
I hope not, because the dogs go out that side.
Right. I mean, they get pretty nasty. I mean, I think I told the story about my neighbors in Wantagh had a cat, and when he went outside, you'd have to hunker down underneath the picnic table because the birds would dive bomb him. And if you pet him on the head, there were lumps on his head. His whole head was all bumpy because of the birds had been dive bombing him all those years. So he must have gotten a few of those along the way, and they knew him. I'm
This
gonna
is
sew a little bit, and you're on. Ooh, that's
I've been
nice.
doing. I've been watching Miss Linux 2010, Lena,
Yes, yes. Show
and
me, show me. I want
yeah.
to.
So, and I've started also because a long time ago, Janet Young inspired um, these books, the
What
McGill.
I have.
I've had this for like years.
Yeah,
Anyway, when I watched Lena, I couldn't resist. I had to. She really inspired, so I had to do a page like she did. Yes, from syllabus, and the
yeah.
page was 98.
Yep, yep.
So I had to do my
I
version,
love
and
yours.
that's I drew me.
Yes,
It's
the
like,
new
oh, I'm
you.
not going to make a
That's the
stamp out
new
of
you. The new you. Yes.
yeah, my short hair.
But I love how all your little characters are stitched. They're all, they're kind of made. They're all crazy quilts.
Yep. So the sewing machine says sew and bring to life. And this is actually a Linda Berry.
Yes, that's Linda. That's how she looks. Yes, that's how
Yeah.
she draws herself.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
I have a little critter being brought to life on the sewing machine, and that's all of these were brought to life. And then
Sure.
we've got the
Yeah,
mending
there she is.
station,
Yeah,
and there's Linda Berry, and then this fishy face. If you watch Kathy Arbor,
right.
the past stream, she did fishy faces.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's a great idea.
So, and I've incorporated a bunch of different, elements that were happening, and then the doll I made, Mary has that now, and then my journal
Right.
scroll, and then me.
That's awesome.
And yes, I did cut my hair. I cut a good 8 to 10 inches off.
Yeah. And you did a very nice job too. It's beautifully styled. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was looking at that exercise, and I was thought about it, to do it in the stream, but I figured, well, did it, and Lena did it. I might still, but this is the I've had this book since for several years, and this is the composition book, and I've had this composition book, and you can see I'd already started. Look, I'd already started doing. I did these borders at least 3 years ago in anticipation of.
Oh, yeah. I thought when I have like empty pages in between. See, and then I did some that I tried out the version of Barbara Clark.
Oh, okay.
She did it this way. So I tried that. I still have my edges to do, and I was going to do, how you're doing your banner, your borders.
Yes.
I thought about doing some of her borders here and along the edge.
Yeah.
But then I tried it this way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna just do
Yeah.
however that it fits.
Yeah. And and I think that is her lesson, really. I mean, if you read I've read a good part of this book. I mean, there's a lot to read, but that's the essence. She wants you just to do, and
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. So I didn't really like. I started reading the book, and it's like, wow, this is a bit overwhelming.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's not a book you sit down and read
No,
like
it's
you would
not.
read a novel, but
It's like page by page thing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
look at the page, you take from it, and then you go and art from it. It's
right.
it. I tried going through it. It's like, oh boy.
But this was her, this was her teaching. And as a teacher, I have some notes from faculty meetings where I kind of drew these kind of little characters, just to doodle while I was listening to all the ridiculousness that happens at faculty meetings. But is creative concentration contagious? And then but yeah. And you folded, you have three long strips, and then you do your
Yeah, I didn't do the squares because it seemed like everything I ended up drawing was too big for the square.
right. Yeah. Well, my she wants you to do this, but she wants to be in a composition book. So obviously you can't do squares. I mean, I can draw squares in the composition book, but I can't fold the composition. You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah,
really.
I don't have a composition book.
Right. Well,
I'm
that's
just
close
doing
enough.
it what I have.
Right. Yeah. But that's fine. Yeah. So I'm going to attempt this, and it seemed like a lot of fun. And I also have there's a cartoonist in here that she mentions a lot. Borelli is his name,
I don't know.
about drawing cartoons, and I bought his book also. And
Oh, cool. You'll have to share that with me.
yeah, it's a little tiny book. Yeah, I'll bring it out if people. I mean, and then I have her other book that she wrote, another book on drawing, making comics, and but these are fascinating. I mean, initially when I looked at this, you can't. Initially when I was going through and I looked at this page, I thought that I had done that, because that's like looks like my handwriting, and that I had somehow written this stuff and then crossed it out. And I realized, no, that's her. So yeah.
Yeah, if you put us back on the landscape one, you'll be able to see the whole book.
Oh, landscape one. I'm sorry, I keep on screwing that up.
That's all right. There you go.
There.
See, see the
Okay.
whole book?
Yeah. We'll get it. Yeah, that's the whole book. And she's got some videos that are older, but if you want to watch her, she's
Oh,
out there.
I
I know
have.
you have. Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's a great idea. Aunt Beck said she thinks she would do the pages with random number picker. Huh. Yeah.
I'm just gonna see what Lena does.
Yeah, well, that's what Lena. That's what her stream is. She's working her way out.
Lena has such an imagination, and
Oh my gosh, does she ever?
it comes from her brain to her hand. And actually, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, she
wow.
is, and she's funny without even realizing that she's funny. And
Yes,
someone was talking about her giggles, and I think her giggles are just contagious.
they
They're
are.
just.
They are. If
I don't
anybody
know.
hasn't subscribed to her and watched her, you really should.
Yeah, really, Miss
She's
Lennox.
very uplifting.
Yes,
She's
yeah.
very uplifting.
That
Tori, what
Muppet stream was
Muppet Stream
hysterical.
was
Yes. Oh
awesome.
my gosh, the Muppets. And then she had Janet Young in there. Somehow she'd drawn her in there. You know,
Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah. And she just, it's like a stream of consciousness. It just comes right out, you know. Yeah, she's amazing. A lot
Yeah,
of fun.
she's got a good connection from brain to hand, let me tell you.
Yes. And, you know, because she doesn't have a whole lot of filters that's, you know, stopping her. So it's just,
It's a good flow.
yes. And I have Danny Gregory is another great artist to follow too. He draws every week. I have a lot of his books.
Oh, I'll have to find his. I had one of his books, and it was realistic.
Yeah. I have one, and then I have like the workbook that came with it. I can show it to you because, man, if I that's one thing I've got is lots of books. But he's another another great encourager. You know, if you're really reluctant to draw, he really encourages you to take up the pen. Oh, this is the one I have. It's Art Before Breakfast, and this is the workbook.
Oh yeah, that one's cool.
And this was I was trying to draw my toast with all the nook and crannies. And then this is my foot. So I drew my. These are actually my drawings. I look back on them, and they're not all that horrible.
No, you did pretty good.
This is me teaching, and I have me saying blah 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 blah. This is me parking at school. There's my computer.
That reminds me of the Jetsons.
Yes. My superpowers. Oh, this is lying in my bed, looking out the door into my living room drawing. So
Oh, that's cool.
they're not.
Mine, I'd be looking at the couch.
Yeah, well, this is the medicine cabinet. You know, you. So it's just things that are in the house. The house.
Good morning, Janet.
Hi, Janet. So happy you're here. So I like my cat.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in and supporting Anne on our Sundays now, on her Sundays, I should say.
Yes. And then this is the book. So he had the book, and then he had the workbook. So draw
Well,
what's in front of you. Yeah. 2-minute genius. But he's very inspiring also.
Art Before Breakfast.
Yes.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. So we're just kind of going through books here, Janet. Okay. Becky has a new stitch out, I take it.
Yeah, I don't have enough yarn to do something to follow along, so I'm watching everybody's stitches grow, their
Yes.
blankets or their scarves or whatever, and it's been fun watching.
Oh, I bet. Oh, here's the cartoon. This is the cartooning book. This is the guy that she references on. And his cartooning is, again, it's real simple. Again, and my goal was to draw really good stick figures. So this guy is right up there for me because
You got a Happy Mother's Day from somebody. Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, hi, Dave. Oh, thank you. That was a pleasant surprise. I was just talking about how we played World of Warcraft yesterday. And here he is. Look at that. Thank you. I would have missed that. I'm hoping you're having a good day. So this is the cartooning book. And he has, again, spontaneous drawing, and he's got the little guy, in just a circle, which is, I can manage the circle, and a little dot for an eye. And so that's something that's manageable. So that's the book that she refers to. So I was going to do a little sewing in honor of Carol since Carol's here. Everyone's saying hi to Dave. So that's nice. Dave's he's in Cape Cod right now, I'm assuming, because it's Sunday.
Ah.
And I cut out a pop can butterfly.
Oh, cool. Make yourself bigger so we can see.
You do that. And then this was not easy to sew on there. And then I punched holes in it so I could get the needle through it.
Oh, cool.
So because we've got butterflies now. They're not blue, obviously. They're yellow. But so I sewed this on, and then I did like what you did. I had some patterned cloth, and I cut out a butterfly so you know that I had something to adhere it to. So this is my May. Is all I've got. So, but I have a little bunch of ducks. Well, we're going to pretend they're ducks, so I'm going to sew those on. I don't think they're ducks, but I have ducks on my pond, so I think I'm going to. And this is from Janet. This is Janet Nash's postcard, one of her lovely postcards. So I appreciate it. It's nice to put this stuff on as you receive it, and it's so
cool. It is. I've been loving having different little snippets here and there from people to add to my scroll. I think that's pretty cool.
Poor Aunt Beck is going to. Well, I am going out to the kitchen for a bit so I can make my own breakfast. The dream of Mother's Day, pampering. I guess it will remain in my dreams. Poor Aunt Beck. If anybody deserves breakfast in bed, it's Aunt Beck. That's for sure.
I don't think my kids are awake yet.
Right. I know. Yeah. So
and hopefully my daughter's getting super pampered because she's got 3 kids. So you could make me a mod, or
okay, let me make you a mod. That's great.
Kimberly.
Kimberly will be a mod. Okay. Now I just click on their name.
Yeah, and it says down the bottom it'll say add moderator, make moderator.
Oh, add moderator. Okay, Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly.
Or Janet. Janet's good at that too.
Janet, would you mind? Let's see.
Because I have the YouTube chat up, so I can go in and I'm watching chat constantly.
Okay, all right. Let me. Are you here? Yeah, you have to say. Can you make yourself a mod?
No.
All right, so you have to say hi or something.
Yeah, I will. Just one second. There you go.
Okay. All right, there you are.
And Janet she said yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's good to have a few, because that way people don't feel obligated to stick around.
Yes.
When they have life.
Yeah, I know. And I've always been very short on mods. And I always feel it's such an imposition. But
having about 4 or 5 is good, because then people can come and go.
Yep. Thank you, Aunt Beck. So did Janet turn blue?
When she talks again, it'll show.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, alrighty. Yeah. I don't know, my son Dave, we have to have mods because moderators, because sometimes people come in and just put nasty stuff in the middle of a chat for just because they're idiots, and it's been really bad recently. I mean really bad.
Yeah, I know. I was at Mary's and did a couple of. Well, you did too. We were both hitting them when they were coming in.
I know, and yeah. Yep, it looks. Yep, everyone. Kimberly, you look good in blue, also. Yeah.
Everybody's got their blue dresses on. We're good.
That's right, with a wrench. But yeah, it's been. I mean, they remember a couple of months ago they had those. They were just a little circle, right, with an initial and a strange name and a series of numbers and letters, and they were obviously, they were algorithmed in. They weren't anything that was, you know, disturbing. But the latest ones are disturbing because they're
Yes,
they're, they're, they're
they were
sexual in
really bad.
content. And
They
you
were
should have
really
seen them at Keisha's sale the other night. They were popping up, and it's usually in a block of 4 or 5.
Yep.
And
I didn't see them at Keisha's, but
yeah, there were tons of them. And then people in the stream were making fun, making jokes about it, about what the content was, which was pretty funny. But I noticed on Mary's, they had webcam in part of the.
yeah, you can put in lots of words to block. There's a spot where you can go in that people aren't allowed to say, or it won't
Right.
show up. So you could block some of
No,
that.
in the actual mod, I mean, in the actual troll statement,
The name, yeah, I
she
saw
had
it
a
on
webcam, and
Mary.
Mary just bought a webcam, so it's almost like it knew that she had bought a webcam, so it had webcam in capital letters, and then
That's
all of their trashy stuff after that, which I thought was really interesting. It was weird. I think she bought a webcam.
I
Pretty
think
sure.
she did because she couldn't find her other one.
Right. And we finally just said you probably threw it out, which has been known to happen because the webcams are really tiny. So I'm going to try to sew this on without too much fanfare, and then I'm going to make some cards, my collage, to try to go through my magazine stuff. Okay. I bought these needles from, I don't need to be big anymore. Let me go back to being normal. Okay. I love that thing you did with that, cutting out that flower. I have a flower right here I want to cut out and try, but I couldn't
Darn
find
light.
a big enough flower. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do it or not.
I don't know whether the light is good or bad, or it's like, seriously, we've got lots of glare today.
Morning, Kathy Berg. Happy Mother's Day to you.
I posted everywhere that you were live this morning.
Oh, thank you. I would never think. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everybody's group, my Facebook page, my community tab. So everybody who would be looking for me would be looking for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I
So
do.
everybody, if you're not subscribed to Anne, make
Oh,
sure
that
you
would
hit
be
the
great too.
bell,
Yes. I'm at
because
5:02.
so every Sunday she'll be here.
Yes.
And she
Doing
doesn't mind having company, so
no. If
if Beth
anybody
wants
wants to
to come
come
on
on.
and stitch with her
Hmm.
when she can,
Yep.
or Janet,
Anybody. I mean, it's so easy to push out a link.
Yep.
Mhm.
So if anybody else wants to join,
You're welcome. The more the merrier.
it makes the day go, and you
It
have
does.
so
It
much
does. When
fun.
you have someone else to talk to, it certainly does.
So
Mm.
I'm considering, um, my Saturdays to have a few people on, as if you're stitching along with me, it would be kind of cool, because then I could, there's an option where I can be bigger to teach and have
Mhm.
everybody off to the side and
Mhm.
everybody stitching along.
Yes.
And I think like in school, it would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're trying a new stitch and you have a problem with it, you're the teacher's here and say, well, no, you
And
need to do
everybody can
this.
show it as they're stitching along, and
Yeah.
and
No, that's
I didn't do any more on my little flower. I just
but I've seen that. I'm used to doing the satin stitch, but not the short and long like you did to bring in the highlighting of the picking up the shadows of in the flower. That was a
I
great.
find the difference between the satin stitch and the long and short. I find the satin stitch, it has, if you do it too long, you still have to, like in the old days of the Bayou Tapestry,
Mm-hmm.
when they did the long stitch, they had to go back and tack it all down.
Oh, okay.
So I find that this style, the long and short, it's thread painting, but it's still, I think you don't have the long pieces sticking up and you've got your shading going on. And
Right.
but if anybody hasn't seen the Bayou Tapestry, I really do think you should look at it. And there's some YouTube videos on it and how they explain everything and show the
Now,
different.
where is that hanging now? Do you know?
No, I don't.
That's not the is that the unicorn? No.
No, not that
Okay.
I'm aware of.
There's some beautiful tapestries at a museum. Well, I'm sure that most of them are museums, but I know of that tapestry. One sec. Okay. And I think it was at the cloisters. And the cloisters is this unbelievable gem, little gem of a place in the very northern tip of Manhattan Island, where they literally, during the Great Depression, they went over to Europe and they bought up and took apart. Oh, it's about the Norman conquest of England. That's right. Okay.
Hey,
Dave. Thanks, Dave. Yes. I can picture it now. Yeah, I can almost see it in my mind.
and it was and this is where when I saw that it was brought to my attention by a nice person in Australia, and she said your scroll looks like this because I never knew of the Bayou Tapestry until she told me, and she says go
Okay.
look at it.
Yeah.
So from that point, it's like, oh, I really like this. And that's when my scroll started to take a bit of a turn.
Yes, Dave Lowe. Wikipedia to the rescue. That's right.
So with the Bayou Tapestry, they do um, they do their storytelling
Mm-hmm.
in the middle, like I was doing, and then
Right. Yeah.
and then the detailings of certain things went in the little tops and the bottom
Right.
rows.
Yeah.
And that's where I started doing that. I had the top and the bottom
Yeah.
started. So I was then I,
How do I make you big? Because I want do that. No. 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 Wait a minute. Can I just click on you to make you big?
upper left-hand corner in my little square down the bottom.
Whoops. What did I do? I just went to full screen. Let me get out of this. I'm sorry. Because I want. All right. Low.
Down where you see where you let me in,
Oh yeah.
mouse over and you'll see the left it says you click there and
Solo
that
layout. Got it.
yes, there.
Okay.
So with the Bayou Tapestry, they had the storytelling of what was going on throughout, and then here it was more personalized. So that's when I went from doing just random all over the place
Oh, okay.
to starting with my daily things that
Mm-hmm.
are up here and then down here.
And you defined it by putting a line, like defining it, putting in its own like little.
Yeah, and then what they did with the Bayou Tapestry is then they also had some of their pictures flow down in and through to make it look like it's one.
Oh wow.
So that's where you get the story and then you
Uh-huh.
got little details, and that's where this came from. This was from the Bayou Tapestry, so I was inspired by that. And then I got tired of doing the bottom part because it's like
Uh-huh.
I don't have enough happening in my life
Right.
to
Well,
incorporate a
well, you're
top
not
part.
conquering England, so you're just
Seriously. And if you ever watch the Bayou Tapestry, it's like amazing some of the things that goes through. And there's a YouTube video that explains, it's like story tells as
hmm
it's as you're watching and going through. It was really, really
check
cool.
that out. Yeah. It's amazing.
So storytelling is, the different things in my scroll I have about my past, I
hmm
have the present, the different things, and then the daily crap.
Right. Yeah, the daily yeah.
The daily crap. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's the one that's in the cloisters. Okay, Dave's yeah, because that's the one I've seen at the cloisters.
so
That's
you
the
should
other
make
one.
your son a mod.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I don't think he'll be
And he
here on
could,
a regular
he could
basis. This I
post
think
links
this is a
then.
special occasion, but I appreciate it. Yeah. They.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was just going to talk about the cloisters. It was so it was during the Great Depression to give jobs to like stonemasons and craftsmen. So they bought falling down monasteries in Europe and they brought them back, and then they built the cloisters out of the stones that they had bought in Europe, and they hired a whole bunch of stonemasons, and then they hi Barb. Barb came in and so hello, and so they reconstructed this cloisters, and inside of it they have like a museum of Middle Ages, Middle Eve of artifacts and stuff. And the grounds, the gardens are like formal, like type of gardens that they would have had during that period of time. And there's a style of gardening where they train a tree to grow like flat against a wall, and there's a French word for it, and I can't remember it, but they had that type of you know well, they were like sculpting trees and such,
Huh.
and it's at the very tip of northern of Manhattan Island, and it just
Wow.
sits up there, and they have like festivals. And my ex-husband is the one that took me there. I'd never known that it existed, and I would tease my students when I was teaching. I said, if you guys are ever in New York City and you've got nothing to do and you've got some money to spend, just get in a taxi cab and tell them, take me to the cloisters. I had a student that actually did that uh, with his parents, and the mother said that they were just so amazed that what a beautiful place that is, and it's just gorgeous. And who knew it was there? I mean, and there was a scene from a very famous Clint Eastwood movie, Dirty Harry. There's a whole segment of Dirty Harry that takes place at the cloisters too. Those of you who are, make my day, Dirty Harry
Huh.
movies. So I think it's at the cloisters where he's finally captured the bad guy, and that's when he has that famous line with his gun to the guy's head where he says, "Make my day." And I don't know if anybody remembers that or not. Random facts about the cloisters, Clint Eastwood, and Dirty Harry, all in one sentence. I don't know how I do that, but that's how I did that. So, but I'm just doing a.
You can take me off being big now.
Oh, okay. Well, you're painting. Okay. We can go back to the. Is that the one we want? No, we want this one. That's the one we want. Okay. I'm learning.
Well, you have to play around to get to know what
Right. Yeah.
one
You
does.
gotta have. It's
I
hard to.
still have to. So it's like,
Right. And I'm doing the. I love the back stitch.
yeah, me
Hi,
too.
Ray. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you. All right. So now I have some. We'll pretend these are ducks, but they're geese and they're Christmas geese, but they're representing the ducks out on my pond. I wish I could. Well, I could. It would be really hard to do the sandhill cranes. That would be a challenge. I'd have to, but I do like painting. I started to use the ink tints because let me show you. I finished the other thing. I started it, I think last week in your stream, and I finished it. Uh, yeah, I finished the hockey sticks for the trip. So I painted the hockey sticks,
Cool.
and then this is I kind of it's supposed to be the number symbol, and then number 6 because that's Reed's number on his hockey uniform. So that's how I. So that was March. Now I gotta. And see, I did the satin stitch in my tree.
Oh yeah. The smaller areas it's good for.
Yeah, and yeah, and then I did the satins. Did I do that? I did it also for the Volkswagen bug. So and the lizard too. I did a lot of stuff on this. I didn't realize. There's my heart by Ruth.
Sorry for the sniffing,
But
people.
I've got a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of filling in that can be done.
Oh yeah.
That's just
Simple
time.
flowers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I can do. That's just that included March. So, but I like that. I never, that whole. Thank you, Barb. Let's see, Jan. It's only 11 minutes in taxi from Victoria. Barb, just can't believe I've never heard of it. Thanks. Oh, that tapestry. I didn't actually really. Oh, you are gonna go? Went to a sister thrift store from Cafe Cat. Said they would not take my hangers. I purchased such an amazing book there. Huh. Reading some of the chat. Oh, a wool shop. Oh, I thought you were going to go. Oh, okay, a wool shop. Okay. So I have to think of some other things to put. I really should maybe. Well, I have to do May. I haven't put May in here yet, and I made a mistake by putting. I wasn't thinking when I put the postcard this close, but I can put May anywhere. It doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah, exactly. You could put it right next to all your lettering, your butterfly.
Yeah, I could just put it like right here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going to happen with mine too. So mine's going to go after.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know I wanted to show you. This is what I was thinking of doing, and I don't know.
Excuse
I'll
me.
ask your opinion because I want to do a flower like you did, but I don't have any.
They don't have to be big.
Yeah, okay. Because I've got this. This one is little, and it's got some white in it, so that would be neat. So you could have like a black. You could do a French knot, and then just kind of do the orangey, and then do some white as like the accents of the flower. Or I could do maybe a couple of flowers, but I don't actually.
Oh, lay down, Luna. I'm fine.
And then there's this one, which I think is just too big and plain. This one would be not too exciting to do.
You could do your own colors. Change the
Yeah, I could
colors.
add my own colors to it. Yeah.
You could take and start off with, if you want purple, dark purple, light
Hmm.
purple, go from light to dark to the middle.
Yeah. Light to dark. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So
'Cause
you can use it just as your outline
okay. That's a good idea. See, yeah,
and you have something to follow.
that makes more sense. This would be an interesting one to do too, with the little,
Yeah. That one you could do the satin stitch
yes, that would be fun to do.
or chain stitch. It
Yeah.
almost looks like a buttonhole stitch going around.
Yes. I have trouble with the buttonhole stitch. I don't know why, but I do. I get myself disoriented with my I don't know.
I always have issues in the beginning.
Yeah. So I don't know. This might be. I can see this be fun just to do the thin black outline around these little loops, and then fill them in with like a yellow, which would be really kind of stylized. I guess that's supposed to be a chrysanthemum. I don't know. These are kind of like stylized stuff. And I have my fabric scissors that I've been very good. I haven't used them on anything but fabric. Good morning, Elise.
Bye,
Thank you
bud.
for
Have fun
stopping
out.
by. So appreciate it.
Hi, Elise.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that. I think I have seen a documentary on that tapestry, but I would definitely want to see something like that again because I have more appreciation for it, obviously. I wonder how long and how many women must have worked on that tapestry when you think about it. It must have been all.
Years, years. There's another lady that I follow. I can't think of her name right off, but she's actually recreating the Bayou Tapestry.
What?
Yep, she's recreating it all by herself.
Wow.
And
What a beautiful.
by the end of the year, I had 72 feet. So just imagine.
I can't imagine. I always picture, the ladies in waiting sitting at those, on those by those stitching frames where they'd have them like, in the wooden frames where the fabric would be, and they would be, stitching because that's all they could do with their high little hats on, cone hats. What do you call those things that hold the fabric that are like a frame that you have it like you don't hold? It's like a hoop, but it's like almost like a.
It's still a quilting frame.
Oh, yeah, quilting frame, yeah. But they would do their stitching on those.
Yeah, I had one. I
Oh, you
had,
did?
yeah, it was, the PVC kind.
Oh, okay.
And I used it a couple of times, but the PVC thing is like a pain in the butt because it's really hard to get uh, the pieces over your quilt plus the plastic.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hard
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
hands, and that was years ago. So it was like, but after quilting on a quilting frame and quilting it by hand or just in a hoop, I prefer just in my hand.
In your lap. Yeah. In your hands. Yeah.
I've gotten away from using a lot of the hoops and stuff
Mm-hmm.
unless I'm doing a specific stitch or your fabric is not firm enough
Mm-hmm. That makes
pull
sense.
stitch that it would pull too tight.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the process of, sewing that Cantor quilt, and I cut. Oh, it may have been created by monks. Certainly, the illuminated lettering was. That's for sure. I never thought about that. She seemed competent. But the Cantor stitch is easy. It's that big, broad white stitch. Rosemary she ordered another batch of quilts, and she sold them last night, and she got rid of them all. And I think when she buys them, she has to buy them in a bundle of 50. But she got rid of every last one last night. Amazing. But I'm cutting mine up, and I took your advice, and it came out really good. I got one side done. I still have to do the other side. And then with the leftover strip of canth, I think I'm going to make into placemats.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having a bad morning.
Huh.
Sneezing and coughing.
Yeah. And how's the wind today?
Yesterday it was brutal.
Yeah, you said that was good.
That's why I'm so bad today. And today is supposed to be 15 Celsius,
Okay.
which is going to be nice.
Yeah. Were you able to get your laundry out yesterday?
Oh, yeah, I almost flew away with the sheets. They actually, the wind was so bad, it pulled them right off the line.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I had to go out and hang them all back up again.
Oh. Now that would be a funny thing to draw.
Oh yeah, I intend to put that into my scroll
Yes, yes. I think
and
that
draw. Draw would be
and
cool.
draw. Yes, that's definitely. Yeah, that would be funny. I'm thinking of some way of maybe adding Dave and I playing World of Warcraft. I just don't know.
Find a couple of images
Yeah, that's
of
what I'm
the
thinking. Yeah.
logo or something, and then
Good
draw
morning, Dad.
draw yourself. Excuse me. Hold
Yeah.
on. Sit down. Behave. Oh crap. This is brutal.
Well, that looks nice.
Thanks. It's just my paper is still wet, so and it's not I don't know. It's definitely not like the encyclopedia.
No, no, no. That encyclopedia paper is something. I don't know what that is, but that's just amazing stuff.
But this is just it's so porous, it's just seeping right through.
Well, it does seem like soft cardboard.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of paper it is.
Well, it's not mulberry paper, and there's another type of paper that I learned about in Kathy Berg's stream, and now I can't remember the name of it, but I bought some. But it was kind of bumpy, and
It's not rice paper.
no, no rice paper. No, I know what that is. That's really thin.
Yeah, I have that.
I made all that faux rice paper that I don't think is very faux-ish, but I have that in the sewing journal. I don't know how. I folded it and you're going to use it in as pages in the sewing journal. And as I said earlier, all I'm doing on those pages is I have a lot of little lace that I've acquired, and I'm not really a lacy person, but I have lace. So I was,
So paint it.
yeah, good painted. I
And
was
then
just been sewing it on the edges of the pages, as a
um, the other thing you could do is with your lace, create it and use it in strips like a trellis, and then embroider flowers on it, or put beads on it.
ooh, beads. I got beads. I
So
got
you could
beads.
do that. I did that on one of mine. I did some bobbin lace
Mm-hmm.
right here. Oh, you can't see. And I put it down, and then I put beads on it, and then I just embroidered little bits and flowers right over it.
Oh, wow.
You can't even really see the lace too much with all the stuff on top.
That's a good idea. I could do that.
But you can use it up, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've used quite a bit up on the pages, but I've got some wider lace that would be perfect for the scroll, like, and just put. I ended up buying all of these glass
Texture.
beads
It
that I
puts
have.
texture and fixes. It strengthens your material.
Mm-hmm.
At
Well, I
least, yes,
bought.
I do bobbin lace. That's one of the things I'm going to do as uploads, along with the tatting. The tatting and the bobbin lace, I'm going to start uploading because it's easier to do that way than try to do a live.
What is I obviously bobbin lace is lace that you obviously can make. So
Yeah, it's long. They're about 4 inches long, and you get these wooden. They're like wooden dowels with
okay.
a decorative work on it, and you wrap your pearl cotton or threads, and then you put your bobbins over each other, basically like say these are your bobbins. I gotta wait for my page to dry anyway. These are your bobbins.
Oh,
This
okay.
this black is all your thread. So what, and then in up at the top you put pins in your pillow that you put your pattern on.
Oh, wow.
You put your 4 pins at the top, or however many you're going to need to come down, and you hook this, the thread coming from here. These two bobbins are a pair, so the thread that's here is like looped and attached to here.
Oh, wow.
So you'll have about a yard of thread
Yards. Okay.
between them or more. So you take and you hook this onto the uh the pin that's up here, and you hook this one on. So you've got two sets of bobbins, and most of the time, or all of the time, you're working with four at a time. You could have like hundreds of these sitting out to do your lace,
That is crazy.
but you do four at a time. And what you're going to do to start it is you take your middle one and go over the other one, and then you take this
Oh,
and you
oh,
cross. And
oh,
this is, and then these two would go off to the side, and you'd bring another two down, and
get
then
out.
do
Oh
that
my
one
gosh.
over two, two over three, and then this one over
So
this one.
you're literally like weaving lace.
Yeah, I did a very small video and posted it. I don't know if I posted it on my Facebook or if it's on my YouTube.
Okay. I'll have to
But
look
I
for that.
also carved my own bobbins, and I beaded my own bobbins.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I've made a couple things, and I have to get back to making some more. I don't know if I have any more of my. I know some of my bobbin lace sold when I had my sale.
Okay. Now, what kind of thread do you use for that?
This thread is just regular DMC.
Okay.
And but pearl cotton you could use regular little cotton,
Okay.
pretty much anything you can. The size of your thread determines the size of your
Lace.
outcome.
Oh,
Just like when
okay.
you're
Yeah.
you're crocheting, if you use a thick yarn, you're going to get a bigger project.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So it's
So
kind of knitter's choice or bobbiner's choice. Or
yeah, so this actually gets done in quarters. So you'd start here and you'd work this little quarter, and then you go to the next one, and then you do this section, and then you do this section, and then you stitch these two together.
oh Lord.
And it's slow. It's a slow process. It's not something that gets done fast. It's like tatting. Tatting, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's really slow. But I made four of these. As a set, and I've got the other three in the room, and I'm going to start posting some of this stuff for sale. So,
Yes. That's
but
I never I never gave it any thought as to how lace was made. I just assumed it was machine made, but I guess it must not have been
nowadays,
in.
nowadays it is
Yeah,
mostly,
but
and that's why the handmade lace is more expensive,
well,
because
sure. Yeah.
it does take time.
Yeah. And that's we've talked about this before. That's the problem with selling your crafts because, you know, if you even gave yourself minimum wage, you've already priced yourself out of the market because the time and that you have to put into each piece is hours and hours, and you can't really recover that.
Nope. And then people say, "You want how much?"
Right. Um, no, it's true, and because we're all used to having, quickly made or manufactured stuff, and it's just a hard market that way to get the real value of your labor.
Elise, exactly. My bobbin lace went at very reasonable prices, but if you go on Etsy and you search bobbin lace, you will see that a simple bookmark that they've done is at least almost 45 to $50.
Yeah, just for a bookmark.
Yeah.
Hi,
Bye, Mary
Mary
Lou.
Lou. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and a bookmark is just a straight. There's nothing
Yeah,
complicated about
I
that.
did post a link in on I think it was in Aunt Beck's group. I
Mm-hmm.
posted a link that there is a lady who teaches it on YouTube. I
No, okay,
can't think. It's something Robin Crafts, Red
okay.
Robin Crafts. Don't hold me to it, but she actually teaches beginner from the beginner on, and I had posted because you can use clothespins, the pinchy kind.
Oh, the kind that don't have the spring mechanism in them.
Well, yeah, you can use, well, pretty much any clothespins, but
Okay.
you can use clothespins to learn how to do it. You don't really need to go and buy the
A bobbin.
whole bob and lace kit.
Okay.
But I have quite a bit of bobbins, and then I started creating my own from dowels and painting them, and I would like to do some more of that. So
Mhm.
that's another thing that's on my little list of things to do.
Hi, Devin. Good morning.
Hi,
Thank
Devin.
you for
Happy
being here and
Mother's
happy
Day.
Mother's Day for all us mothers. to try to outline this, but we'll see. This is, I don't know how much more of this I'm going to do. I might switch to the, I had a
Yeah, I'm
whole,
not happy that went through. I may have to put something on the backside
oh, yeah.
or do an acrylic on one side, do my acrylics, and then I could do a watercolor on the opposite side.
Or you could just glue something down, a piece of a,
Yeah, I might have to do that. It
you know,
just it's frustrating because I was hoping this paper would work. I mean, it's an earthy type paper, you know.
yes.
I
And
like
it
how
seemed
it
like it was thick
dries,
enough, you know, that it wouldn't, but I
but
guess it's
maybe
so
I just
absorbed.
have to keep it like a background on front and back the same.
Yeah. Because it really went through. There's no doubt. It's like you got two trees. You got one on, one. Hi, Violet. Good
Hi,
morning.
Violet. Yes, I agree, Violet. That's about how it goes. You get for your materials and cover your shipping, but you never, even with any art these days, unless it's an outrageously priced item, you're never going to get your time.
Yeah.
I don't like this page.
Oh, thank you, Aunt Bex. She shared your link. I'll have to
Oh, thank
watch
you,
that.
Becky.
I will
But
definitely.
she's really really good at explaining, and like I could recreate and reinvent the wheel, but I really like how she taught because that's who I followed to learn. Between the book
Okay.
and her videos are amazing.
Okay. It sounds like, again, a slow process, and I would imagine a lot of patience is required.
I seem to pick the slow processes.
Well, that's okay. And you have to be patient.
Patients are running thin these days.
Yeah, I know.
uh,
That's a hard commodity.
I know.
I hear you.
My son got me these brushes for Christmas and I really love them.
Oh,
They're the Mimic brushes,
ooh,
Creative. I
those are
really,
lovely.
really, really love these brushes.
That's a lovely gift.
You did something for Christmas, but I don't know what to get you. I said, well, I could use some new brushes. And he says, okay,
There you go.
you pick them. I said, are you sure?
Oh, okay, okay. You were going to pick some good brushes, not the 10 brushes for 5.99 deal, huh?
He is funny. He says, well, you pick them, so I know you're going to like them.
Yeah, that's okay. Then you got what you wanted, and he was happy.
Yeah, it's he does a lot of art himself, my son
Oh,
does.
oh,
He
okay.
actually has one of those laser and he can laser on wood and um, leather and stuff like that and
Oh,
cork,
neat.
creating some stuff for people and for presents, and he does a lot of woodworking himself,
Okay, all right.
and he also does hand carved leather like I do, so it's
Okay.
kind of cool. He's both my kids. My daughter loves to watercolor.
And this is your daughter, or is it your daughter-in-law? One of someone's a photographer, right?
Actually, my daughter and my daughter-in-law,
That's what
they're
I
both
thought.
they're both photographers. My daughter-in-law, who's out in Alberta with my son, she has her own. she teaches photography. She'll take you out to the mountains and teach you how to take pictures of
Ooh,
of the landscapes, of the stars, and
nature
she'll teach you
photography.
how to use your camera, no matter what camera it is.
That's good.
She'll teach you. So yeah, I kind of scoop some of her pictures sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I say, please, can I? I want to paint this one, or I want to
Uh-huh.
stitch this one. So
She's got lots of nature out in that area of Canada, that's for sure.
yeah, and then my daughter, she does some nature, but she's really good at photographing people.
Okay. All right.
So she does the other end of the spectrum. She
Right.
can do nature, but she also does a lot of still life and people. And actually, she just took her own daughter's prom pictures.
Oh,
Yeah, my granddaughter, she's 18 and she's going to go off to college.
oh my gosh. I know. It makes you feel old, doesn't it, when they get
Oh, well, her son is 20,
wow.
so he's already in university, and he likes anime.
Oh, okay.
He wants to work in that field.
Okay.
So he's going to school for that.
You got a lot of art in your family.
Yeah. I'm glad it passed on.
Yeah.
I'm glad it passed on.
I was thinking that's so funny that because I was thinking about that the other day. There is some art in my family, but I don't seem to gotten much of it. And I was thinking, my grandfather was a really good pen and ink drawer, and my mother, I
Bye,
have some.
Tori.
I
Sorry, she's probably gone by now, but I just noticed she left.
oh okay, I didn't see that. Okay, Beck's back. One can have. Thank you, Becky. And Becky enjoyed her sausage. You have sausage and biscuits. Oh,
Oh, yummy.
treated yourself good this morning. I had a breakfast bar and leftover coffee,
I
which
had
is
pizza toast and some tea.
I'm still drinking. This is my coffee. I leftover coffee in a jar. It's just I save a lot of glass jars and put food. Puts food in it.
Yep,
So
I do too. Especially when you get these nice spaghetti sauce in a jar.
oh,
And,
those are great.
and they have they almost look like a canning jar.
Yeah, and they have the measurements on the side.
Yeah, I
I
love
know.
those. I
I
save
do
those
too.
too.
Yeah, I buy those all the time. And it's like a quart jar, and it has the ounces in it, and
Yeah.
it's great. It's super. Great way to recycle.
Yep. I actually had my thread in that one, the Atlas mason jar. And
Okay.
this had spaghetti sauce in it. And yeah, 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 12 ounces, 16
Yeah, there
ounces.
you go. Yep. Hmm. It's too bad more manufacturers, more products are not packaged with with that thought in mind. I mean, I
Yep.
get I get stuff from art, magazines and stuff like that, and they'll send them in packaging that is recyclable, like card, like craft paper type envelopes that you can reuse. And I actually got one the other day that I think I showed everybody that I had never seen before. Because I have one of those spots where you just throw stuff up, and I threw that up there, and now I can't find it. But it was a like a medical bill. It was like a medical statement thing, that one of those things you get that says this is not a bill,
Yep.
and it was which is always nice to have that preface. This is not a bill. So
Yeah.
don't get mad at us. Get mad at the later on when they send you the bill, but it's not us. That's how I look at it. They want you to not be
This
disrupted.
is so you don't get your shock later.
Yeah, yeah, you'll get it later, but we're warning you. This is coming. But anyway, of course I can't find it. But it's in a brown craft paper type of envelope,
Yeah.
business envelope, and it's got a nice big window in it. But it's brown craft paper, which I had never seen before.
Huh.
So kudos to Health First.
I'm really not liking this paper. It's
Yeah.
it's pilling.
Did you see Janet's comment? She was surprised how much, excuse me, your brush, how much paint your brush holds, and I think that has to do with good brushes hold a lot of paint.
Yeah, they do. A lot of water.
Yeah. I was reading. I'm going back up in the chat. Deb Farrell said she was at Hobby Lobby last night, and three guys were buying, whoops, scissors for their granny for Mother's Day. Aw,
That's cool.
that's thoughtful. This actually is, this is not, this will be interesting if I get this all done when I have it all the black and then just put a little yellow in each little thingy. So that'll have a nice look to it. But it's pretty slow going. So when I finish this, how much thread? Here's a question. How much thread do you normally? Well, that's it. How much thread do you normally work with? Pull out,
From no longer than my arm, but most of the time, uh, from your fingertip to just above your elbow. Because the more you pull it through, the more it shreds, the more it tangles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you can use beeswax, and you can also use thread magic or something similar to
To keep it from.
yeah, it's just like a moisturizer for thread,
Right. Yeah.
but it'll stop it from tangling.
Well, I was watching you thread needles yesterday. Noticed that you were not using any of those aids.
No, I forget a lot of the time, but and if you noticed, it was kind of tangling on me, but I do sometimes if if I'm using a shiny thread, I don't like my silk.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to put anything on it
Right.
because it will take away the the shine.
Yeah.
But
I was
if
talking
you're
about you threading a needle. The way you thread needles, you don't have to use one of those threader things. That's
oh
that's
no, I
impressive.
never do.
Well, that's to me that is very impressive.
It's just you hold it your thread so just the very edge is sticking
Just a
up,
little, yeah.
and then you put your needle onto it. I don't
Oh,
try to
okay.
I
All
don't
right,
try
that
to put
makes
my
sense.
thread through. I put my needle to my thread
Okay, that makes perfect sense. I never
because
thought about that. Yeah.
people are leaving a long edge, like a half an inch, and trying to get
Oh,
this
yeah. Yeah, you
thinner
can't do
thread
that.
into your needle, and it's going to bend.
Yeah, but if
So
you
I
just,
my finger with just a tiny little bit sticking up, and then when I put my needle down to it, I push kind of with my fingers, so the needle keeps going down, and I'm letting the thread lift up. That's how I thread my needles. That's what my mom taught me.
I think that's brilliant. I never thought about bringing the needle to the thread. That makes perfect sense. See, learn something.
Yeah, it's something I don't think about because,
Well, I've been watching you believe me, I've been watching you very closely doing this. I have to tell you because I've used that little thingy, and I'm always misplacing that little thingy.
I have one.
I'm sure you have one. I've got several.
It's
And
somewhere.
it seems like the more I have, the more I lose.
But I
Um,
find when I'm using my finer needles with the tiny eyes, there's
right,
nothing. There's nothing that will go through that, and then try to get your thread through it with it.
right. Well, I've now buying needles with big eyes. So yeah, I do the wetting the needle eye because it takes away the static. Yep. Uh-huh. That makes sense too. Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of wetting the thread. Okay. I usually slobber all over the thread. And then I make sure I cut it, so it's not like raggedy to get a clean cut on the thread.
Yeah, that's this took over the place of spit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mama spit, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Do I remember?
Yes. That's a whole childhood memory in and of itself, right?
Oh, seriously.
Come here. No.
I got
Yes, come
something
here.
on your face.
Yeah.
Oh, your hair's sticking up.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. You have a cowlick. Let me spit let me
Ew.
spit that down. Yes.
Oh my god.
We were talking about, I read the opening section of that book that I'm going to be reading every Sunday, and he was talking about show and tell and having those memories, remembering show and tell. And I remembered my show and tell and Mama's spit.
Oh, some of the memories, huh?
Yes,
The
I
kids
remember the.
nowadays, their memories are like electronics.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Most of them,
Yeah, that's
because they're
true.
not outside as much.
No, that's right. Well, in the summertime, we
Hours
were out from
outside. Hours.
hours and hours.
We would drag all our toys outside and sit on the porch and play
Yes.
Barbies. The girls from around the neighborhood would all
Yep.
bring their Barbies, and
Mhm. Mhm.
we'd get out all the cardboard boxes and create our own little houses.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
everybody would sit in a different section of the porch. And then some of them had, wealthy parents. So they would bring their Barbie vans and their Barbie trailers. And it's like, wow, I get to play with the cool stuff and I didn't have to buy it.
That's right. Barbie in her convertible.
Yes. So, and then would go and visit from one side of the porch to the other side of the
Uh-huh.
porch. And,
Yeah, the
oh, let's
whole
everybody
Barbie
get into the
village, right?
Barbie van.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hours, right? Hours.
Yes, hours. And
Yeah.
then it got to a point where because my mom would make all my doll clothes,
Mhm.
the girls would say, "Would you trade me?"
Oh, I bet.
Mom would get so angry because I would like some of the bought stuff because
Right.
I didn't have it.
Right.
So it's like, "Yeah, I'll trade you."
And your mom's thinking,
And
I
my mom
spent
would say,
hours
"Well,
making that, and now you're going to give it a. Yeah.
yeah." And she'd say, "Well, what happened to it? Where is this?" "Oh, I traded it." "You what?"
But yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, you had no.
My mom put details into her sewing.
Right.
She,
Oh.
like, literally, she was an amazing seamstress.
Aunt Beck made canoes for her Barbies from banana split
Oh,
boats.
that's so cool.
That is
That's so
funny.
cool.
Yeah.
The things we did, we
Yeah.
had so much fun, and to get kids to use their imaginations is so hard.
Yeah. There's some of there's some of that going on. It's just a different form.
It
Uh,
is, it
my
is.
grandsons are into Minecraft and they're designing cities and they're building and designing amusement parks with roller
Well, that's
coasters. And,
what I mean. They're not outside. They're all using their
yeah,
electronics.
but yeah, that's yep.
And vitamin D from the sun is important.
Yeah, it is. It is very important, especially for yeah. You're right. Super important.
So
Anyway,
it's just how much everything has evolved. Like
yes.
getting back to how we always talk about our stitching and all the names now. for hand stitching, the different things that people call it, from intuitive to slow stitch, and it's embroidery.
Well, that's why I was confused at first because, you know, I didn't know
Everybody's
what slow
calling it
stitching
a
was.
name, and it's just the simple stitches that has now just been elaborated on,
Yeah.
like the running stitch, you know.
Hmm. Well, I did what was called crewel.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And you'd get a crewel kit and it would have a printed design on it, and all the floss was included that you needed in the picture. And then they would have directions on how to do. That's why how I had some knowledge. I remember doing the satin stitch and the French knot, and a couple of and the split satin stitch, the one that you were doing on that flower, that was on many of them to give you the highlights of whatever the picture was. But
yeah.
I thought crewel was different than embroidery, but it's still slow. You know.
It's yes, it's but you're using more of a yarn style.
Yeah, you're using yeah, you're using, as I recall, I guess there were strands, and I think it came in. Yeah,
Yeah, it's thicker. It was a thicker thread
yeah,
for
yeah.
using crewel. I've done a couple little bit of that. My first things that I stitched, in as far as kits wise, was cross stitch.
Okay, yes.
I could never ever finish a cross stitch. It just seemed like it took forever. I taught my son how to cross stitch. He knows how to do that, and he uses a sewing machine, but I could never finish a picture with cross stitch. It just seemed like it just took too long.
It just went on forever.
Yeah. And I think the thing of it is because all you're making is X's,
Yeah,
counting and X's.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for embroidery, now I've had an embroidery machine too. I sold mine.
Oh,
I
oh,
sold mine because I found it was just all flat. There was
oh,
no life to these pictures.
huh.
And I find that when you hand stitch, you get more texture and more um, satisfaction, I would say, compared to the embroidery machine. And I had gazillions of patterns, but you're
Oh,
sitting
wow.
here and you're watching this machine do the stuff. And you have to sit there because it breaks threads, and then you got to start all over, try and figure out how to make it go back.
So okay, so the embroidery machine is like programmed and it does the stitching back and forth, and you sit there and watch it until the thread breaks, and then you fix it and then watch it sew some more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That doesn't sound very
So, it's like
okay.
it's basically, if you want to do patches and certain things in a hurry. Well, I couldn't even say it was a hurry because some of those things took hours to stitch out,
Yes.
especially lace. I can create lace faster than that machine can,
Oh, wow.
and I've done that.
Okay.
But I find it's not, it's more of a function if you're going to sell stuff
Okay. All right.
that you want to, here you go, you can do this. And but if you're doing it just because, I find the hand stitching to me means a little more, and I get more satisfaction out of the hand stitching, and I like how it looks.
Yeah. And it's going to be different because so you are going to have, there are going to be areas where maybe the thread's bunched up a little bit because you pulled a little bit too tight. You know what I mean? And those
Yeah.
inconsistencies give it dimension.
Character. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I did. I pulled a little too tight in one spot and it's got little puckers. But you know what I'm going to do? Even though it has tiny little puckers around the edge, I'm
Mhm.
just going to maybe echo it with a
Okay.
um, Oh, my brain is going with just a straight stitch
Oh, okay.
around in
Make it
echo.
look like it was supposed to be that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Oh, I almost got it. Come on, come on. Ah, nope. Ah, the thread split on me and I can't.
Yeah, it does me too. So then I trim it again, make
No,
it flat. You'll
I'm
get there.
bringing the I I think I got it. I did. I got it. And I brought the eye of the needle. No, I only got one.
Oh no.
Come on, come on, come on. I'm ready to. Oh man, I have two strands and only one went through. You booger, you. All right. I might have to get the other piece. This is it's separated. Oh my gosh, it's
So
separated.
tonight, Anne, you're back on with Deb?
Today, yes,
Yeah, at 5 o'clock
at 5 o'clock.
Eastern.
Yes, on my channel. And then after today, Deb's going to go on alone, and I'm just going to come on at 9 o'clock.
So everybody make sure you are subscribed to Anne.
I
And every
appreciate that.
Sunday, she will be here and we'll all be here. And again, she likes company. So if you're free,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, let her know.
Message me, during the week or during the stream or whatever, because I will
Oh
see the
yeah.
message.
Like if you can't come on right away, just say, hey, can I join you?
Yeah, I just send off a link to you, and like when you can pop in, even if it's just for a little bit, just to say hi and do a little show and tell. We love show and tell, and just to share what we're doing, just like Robert talked about show and tell in his book. And this is really show and tell what we're doing here.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
We're showing and we're telling,
We're working a
and you
little
can
bit.
see I've got a no, I just cannot seem to
Just
save
do
that. So that's okay. We've only got 3 minutes left.
that's
So
that's that's a cluster thread. Make a bird's nest.
okay. I was going to say cluster, and the other word begins with an F, but I won't. That's what I thought. But then I thought, no, Carol wouldn't have meant that. She would not have meant it's a cluster.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did. Well, my mother made up a word. She called it fup, a combination of the two. She said, it's a fup up.
Yep.
Yeah. My 94-year-old mother came up with that phrase.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. A fup up. So she was a pistol. So,
And that's what makes it fun. That's what life's about. You have to be.
yeah.
So I'm going to let you go. And I say thank you to everybody for being
Yes.
here and supporting Anne and the
Thank
changes
you.
that are happening. And
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carol, for coming in and helping me out for my maiden voyage here.
oh, that's
And
fine. If I can be here, I will.
that's good. And I will,
And I'm sure everybody else is going to step up too.
yeah. I
Because
think it's wonderful
that's
today.
what
Yeah.
these are about,
Yeah.
meeting new people all the time, people coming
Hmm.
up and,
Yeah.
and joining in and sharing.
Yeah. I went to MBA's website
Oh yeah.
and looked at those bowls, that knitting bowl that was so beautiful, and the stuff that he made. So I guess you have to call him because you can't really. There's
There's a
no.
message area that
Yeah,
you can.
I'd send him a message because that knitting bowl that you have, I definitely want to get that for my daughter-in-law for Christmas because she's an avid knitter. And she loves natural wood, handmade, American made. They don't buy anything that's not made in America, so this is right up her alley.
Wonderful. Well, if you've messaged him, he will get back to you,
Okay, sounds good. All
and I'll let
righty.
him know. Get to Anne. She's waiting on an answer.
Yes. Oh, so long, people. Thank you again so much. And take care, Carol. And we'll see you throughout the week.
Yes, you will.
All righty. Bye
Bye.
bye, everybody. Bye, Aunt Bex, Kimberly, Janet, Devin, all of you lovely ladies. Bye.